morning sun shone gently over the royal palace grounds. Birds sang in the trees and the gardens glowed with colorful flowers. It was a calm day, but for Leo, Camilla's son, it was anything but ordinary. Today he was riding in his father's car toward the palace, and he had a feeling that something unusual might happen. Leo had always been curious about royal life. Even though he lived in the palace most of the time, each day seemed different. He loved exploring the grounds, meeting the palace staff and learning about royal traditions. But today, as the car moved along the stone path leading to the main gates, he noticed the guards were watching closely. Their eyes were sharp and their posture was serious. They were always careful, but today their attention seemed more intense than usual. Leo's driver slowed the car as they approached the gates. One of the guards, tall and strict-looking, stepped forward. "Please open the trunk," he said in a calm but firm voice. Leo felt a little nervous. He had seen guards check cars many times, but it had never been his own car before. He took a deep breath and nodded. "Okay," he said politely. His hands were steady, though his heart beat a little faster. The guard reached the trunk and pulled it open slowly. Leo watched closely. Inside, the trunk held ordinary things. A few bags, a picnic basket with sandwiches and juice boxes, and some sports equipment. Nothing seemed unusual. Still, the guard examined every corner carefully, his movements deliberate and calm. Leo wondered if he had done something wrong. Maybe he had forgotten to mention something important to his parents, he thought. But then he remembered that his father always said, "Being part of the royal family means staying calm and polite, even when things seem stressful." So he took another deep breath and reminded himself to stay calm. After a few minutes, the guard nodded and smiled politely. "Everything is fine," he said. He closed the trunk with care. Leo felt a wave of relief. The moment had felt tense, but now it was over. Yet something told him this small incident would lead to a lesson he would never forget. Just then, Leo noticed someone walking through the garden near the gates. It was Prince William. He was walking with a relaxed pace, greeting the staff along the way. William noticed the open trunk and the small group gathered around it. He quickly approached, curiosity in his eyes. "Is everything all right here?" William asked as he reached Leo's car. One of the guards explained that they had seen a small package in the trunk that needed a routine check. William smiled. "Thank you for your attention," he said to the guards. Then he turned to Leo with a warm look. "Leo, don't worry. Let's take a look together." Leo felt comforted. William's presence always made him feel safe. He opened the picnic basket as William suggested, showing that even small actions mattered. Sandwiches, fruit, juice boxes, they all seemed ordinary. But William explained that even the simplest items should be treated carefully, especially in a royal setting. Leo looked at the items and smiled. "It's just sandwiches," he said. William chuckled softly. "Yes, but paying attention to small things teaches responsibility. And being responsible is very important for everyone, not just for royals." As they examined the trunk, Leo's eyes fell on a small envelope tucked between the bags. He had not noticed it before. Curious, he picked it up carefully. William leaned closer and said, "Let's see what it is. Sometimes small things can carry big messages." Leo opened the envelope slowly. Inside he found a letter with bright drawings and kind words. It was from a young fan, thanking him for helping at a charity event a few weeks ago. The letter talked about how much the fan admired Leo's kindness and how his small acts of helping others made a difference. Leo's eyes lit up. He had not expected to find something so meaningful in the trunk. William smiled and said, "See, Leo? Even the smallest actions can touch hearts. That is why we must always act with care and kindness." Leo felt proud. He had never thought about it that way before. A simple check of the trunk had turned into a moment of learning. He realized that every little action mattered, and that being thoughtful could have a bigger impact than he imagined. The guards watched quietly, noticing Leo's reaction. They could see that he was learning an important lesson. William's calm and kind approach had turned what could have been a stressful moment into an opportunity for growth. Leo realized that leadership was not just about giving orders. It was about staying calm, being careful, and thinking about the impact of one's actions. The morning continued with a sense of calm excitement. Birds chirped in the trees and the sunlight reflected off the palace walls. Leo felt lighter, happier, and more confident than before. He understood that the lesson he had just learned would stay with him for a long time. As the car moved forward and the palace gates opened, Leo waved at the guards. They returned the wave with gentle smiles. He felt respected and encouraged. Today had begun as an ordinary day, but it had turned into an important experience that taught him about responsibility, patience, and thoughtfulness. William walked alongside the car for a few steps before heading toward his next duty. He waved at Leo and said, "Remember, Leo, every little action counts. Stay kind and responsible, and you will always make the right choice." Leo nodded. He felt inspired by William's words. He realized that being calm, respectful, and careful could change the way people saw him, and even more, it could make a positive difference in the world. As the car entered the palace courtyard, Leo thought about the letter again. He wanted to write back to the young fan, thanking them for their kind words. He also thought about how he could continue helping others, even in small ways. Every day could be a chance to make someone happy, and every action could teach him something new. The palace staff watched as Leo stepped out of the car. His smile was bright and his eyes sparkled with curiosity and confidence. Camilla, who had been observing from a distance, walked over and placed her hand gently on Leo's shoulder. "You handled that very well," she said warmly. "I am proud of you. You stayed calm and learned an important lesson today." Leo smiled back at his mother. "Thank you, Mom. I think I understand now." "Even small things can matter a lot," Camilla nodded. She knew that Leo had taken an important step toward becoming a thoughtful and responsible young man. Today had been an ordinary morning for some, but for Leo it was a day he would always remember. He looked around the palace gardens once more. The sun shone brightly, the flowers were in full bloom, and the birds continued their cheerful songs. Everything felt alive and meaningful. Leo understood that life was full of small moments, and each moment was an opportunity to learn, grow, and make a positive impact. With a renewed sense of confidence, Leo walked into the palace ready to face whatever the day might bring. Today had begun as a simple check at the palace gate, but it had turned into a lesson about responsibility, kindness, and leadership. Leo knew that he would carry this experience with him forever, and it would guide him in all the days to come. The morning at the palace was growing brighter, and the soft breeze carried the scent of flowers from the gardens. Leo had just experienced a surprising moment at the gates, and his mind was still filled with curiosity and questions. He could not stop thinking about the small envelope and the letter from his young fan. The kindness in the letter had touched his heart, and he felt proud of the difference he had made, even if it seemed small. As he walked slowly through the palace courtyard, he noticed movement near the garden path. It was Prince William. The prince had finished a meeting inside the palace and was taking a short walk to enjoy the morning sun. William's presence always seemed calm and reassuring, and seeing him made Leo feel at ease. William approached Leo's car, noticing the trunk that had been opened moments ago. He smiled at the guards who stood respectfully nearby. "Good morning," he said. His voice was calm but carried a friendly warmth. "I see you have been very careful this morning." The lead guard, a tall and disciplined man, nodded. "Yes, Your Highness. We noticed a small package that needed to be checked, and it is routine to examine the car. Everything is safe, but we wanted to ensure the details were correct." William looked at Leo, who stood beside the car, his hands folded nervously in front of him. "Leo," William said, "why don't we check together? It will help you understand how even small actions are important." Leo's eyes widened. He had not expected William to involve him directly. "Okay, Your Highness," he replied politely, though inside he felt excited and curious. The guard stepped back, allowing William to open the picnic basket again. Sandwiches, fruits, and juice boxes were neatly arranged, and the sports equipment lay carefully at the side. William explained each item gently. "Even simple things require attention. This is part of being responsible. Leaders notice small details because they can be important." Leo listened closely, fascinated. "I never thought sandwiches could be important," he said, smiling. William chuckled softly. "It is not the sandwiches themselves. It is about paying attention and making sure everything is handled properly. People trust you when they see that you are careful, polite, and thoughtful." As they went through the items, Leo suddenly remembered the envelope. He picked it up and showed it to William. The prince's eyes twinkled with curiosity. I see you have found something interesting," he said. "Shall we see what it is together?" Leo nodded. With careful hands, he opened the envelope. The letter inside was decorated with colorful drawings of smiling people and bright flowers. It was from a young fan who had seen Leo at a recent charity event. The letter praised his kindness and said that his actions had inspired the child to be helpful to others. William read the letter with Leo, and a warm smile spread across his face. "See, Leo," he said, "even a small act of kindness can inspire someone else. You may not see the results immediately, but they are there. That is why every action matters." Leo felt a sense of pride he had never felt before. It was not about being recognized publicly. It was about knowing that something he did had a real impact on someone else's life. He looked up at William. "I understand now. Even small things can be important and kindness matters." William nodded. "Exactly. And notice how you remained calm this morning, even when the guards opened the trunk. Staying calm and polite is part of being responsible. Leadership is not about forcing people to listen to you. It is about showing by example how to act." The guards, who had been standing quietly, smiled at the interaction. They could see that Leo was learning an important lesson. William had a special way of teaching, combining gentle guidance with real examples. Leo realized that being thoughtful and careful could make a bigger difference than rushing or acting without attention. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, William suggested that they walk through the gardens for a moment. Leo agreed, excited to continue learning. The palace gardens were full of life. Birds sang from the branches of tall trees. Butterflies moved gracefully over the flowers, and the fountains sparkled in the sunlight. It was a peaceful setting, perfect for a lesson about responsibility and kindness. Walking side by side, William spoke gently. "Leo, people will always watch you, especially because you are part of the royal family. But it is not about being perfect. It is about being aware of your actions and how they affect others." Leo thought carefully. "So, being responsible means thinking before acting?" he asked. William smiled. "Yes, that is part of it. It also means helping others, showing respect, and understanding the importance of small actions. Even a smile can make someone's day better. And just like the letter you found, one small action can inspire someone in ways you may not realize." Leo felt a warm glow inside. He realized that his small choices could have meaning beyond what he expected. Today, a simple check of a car trunk had become a meaningful lesson. He understood that leadership and responsibility were not about rules alone. They were about how people lived their daily lives, treating others with care and kindness. They stopped near a fountain, and William gestured to the flowing water. "See this fountain, Leo? Every drop counts. Each one seems small, but together they create something beautiful. Your actions are like those drops. Alone, a small act may seem minor, but when combined with thoughtfulness, care, and kindness, they create something meaningful." Leo looked at the fountain, seeing the water glisten in the sunlight. He nodded slowly, understanding William's words. "I think I understand, Your Highness. I want to make my actions count even in small ways." William smiled warmly. "I know you will. And remember, you can learn from everyone around you. Observe how people act, notice their kindness, and try to do the same. Leadership is about influence, but true influence comes from positive actions, not authority alone." Leo's mind was full of ideas. He thought about the young fan's letter and how much it had inspired him. He thought about the guards and their careful attention, and about William's calm guidance. All of it came together in a simple, clear lesson. Every action, no matter how small, had value. They continued walking through the gardens, passing colorful flower beds and neatly trimmed hedges. Leo asked William questions about the palace and the responsibilities of royal life. William answered patiently, explaining in simple words how each member of the royal family contributed to the community, the staff, and the people who looked up to them. Leo listened eagerly. He felt a sense of purpose and excitement. Today had started as an ordinary morning, but had turned into a remarkable opportunity to learn about responsibility, leadership, and kindness. The small envelope in the car trunk had been the key to this lesson, and Leo felt grateful for the moment. As they approached the palace gates again, William paused and looked at Leo. "You handled everything calmly today. Remember that courage is not always about big actions. Sometimes courage is quiet. It is the strength to act thoughtfully, to stay calm under attention, and to do what is right. That is what people will notice most." Leo nodded. "I understand, Your Highness. I want to be like that," William smiled. "And you will, Leo. Today is only the beginning. Keep this in your heart and let it guide your actions every day. The world is full of opportunities to help, inspire, and make a difference." The guards standing nearby returned their respectful nods. They had watched quietly but were impressed with Leo's attitude. They knew that he had learned something important, and it was clear that William's guidance had made the moment special. As Leo returned to the car, he thought again about the young fan's letter and how meaningful it was. He wanted to write back, sharing his own words of encouragement. He also realized that helping others, even in small ways, could inspire positive changes. Camilla, who had been watching from the palace balcony, came down to meet them. She placed her hand on Leo's shoulder gently. "I saw everything, Leo," she said. "You stayed calm, polite, and thoughtful. I am proud of you. Today you learned a lesson that will help you your whole life." Leo smiled at his mother. "Thank you, Mom, I understand now. Small actions matter, and being kind and responsible is important." Camilla nodded, satisfied. She knew that Leo had grown today, even if only slightly. But she also knew that this small growth would help him become a thoughtful and responsible young man. As the morning continued, Leo looked around the palace gardens again. Everything seemed brighter, more alive and meaningful. The sun shone on the fountains, the flowers swayed gently in the breeze, and the birds sang happily from the trees. Leo felt calm, happy, and ready for the challenges and lessons of the day. Today had started as a simple check at the palace gate, but it had turned into a remarkable experience. Leo had learned the importance of responsibility, kindness, and calmness. He knew that these lessons would guide him in the days to come, helping him become the person he wanted to be. After the calm and thoughtful morning at the palace gates, Leo felt a mix of curiosity and excitement. The small envelope from the young fan had filled him with pride, but it also made him wonder about the other small surprises life could hold. He had learned an important lesson about kindness and responsibility, but he felt that there might be more to discover. As he walked through the palace courtyard, Leo noticed William still nearby. The prince had returned from his short walk in the gardens, carrying a calm presence that always seemed reassuring. William waved at Leo. "Are you ready for a little more adventure?" he asked, smiling gently. Leo nodded eagerly. "Yes, Your Highness. I feel like I am learning so much today." William chuckled. "Good, life has many lessons hidden in unexpected places. Today, we have already seen that small actions can matter, but sometimes even ordinary things can hold surprises." Just then, Leo's eyes fell on the picnic basket that had been in the car trunk. He remembered the sandwich boxes, the juice, and the sports equipment. But the small envelope from the young fan had reminded him that hidden messages could appear where one least expects them. He glanced at William, who noticed the thoughtful look on Leo's face. "What are you thinking, Leo?" William asked. Leo held up the envelope. "I am thinking that sometimes ordinary things can have surprises inside, just like this letter. Maybe there are other things around the palace that I have not noticed yet." William nodded. "Exactly. Life is full of small surprises. The key is to observe carefully and remain curious. Curiosity is important for learning and understanding the world." Encouraged by William's words, Leo asked if they could explore the palace a little further. William agreed, and the two of them began walking through the corridors that led to the west wing of the palace. The walls were decorated with paintings of past royal events, portraits of family members, and landscapes from distant places. Leo felt inspired by the stories each painting seemed to tell. As they moved down the hallway, Leo noticed a small door at the end. It was tucked between two larger doors and looked as though it had not been used very often. Curiosity sparked in Leo's eyes. "What is behind that door?" he asked quietly. William glanced at the door with interest. That door does not open often. But sometimes doors that seem small or ordinary hold something important. Would you like to find out?" Leo's heart raced with excitement. "Yes, Your Highness," he said eagerly. William smiled. "Very well, but remember what we learned this morning. Be careful and notice the details." Leo approached the small door and gently turned the handle. It creaked softly, revealing a narrow staircase that led downward. The room below was dimly lit, but Leo could see the outlines of furniture, shelves, and small objects. It looked like a place that had been forgotten for many years. "Be cautious, Leo," William said calmly. "It is important to explore carefully. Observe everything and do not rush." Leo nodded, remembering the lessons about responsibility, calmness, and attention to detail. He stepped inside slowly, feeling a mixture of curiosity and excitement. William followed, walking beside him and keeping a watchful eye. The room was filled with old books, maps, and boxes. Some of the books had dusty covers, and the maps looked like they had been drawn long ago. Leo's eyes sparkled with interest. He had never seen anything like this part of the palace before. "Wow," Leo whispered. "There are so many things here. It is like a secret place," William smiled. "Yes, it is a special room. Sometimes important information or memories are kept in places that are not immediately visible. It teaches us that not everything in life is obvious. Observation and curiosity reveal many hidden treasures." Leo began exploring the shelves carefully. He picked up an old map and noticed the detailed drawings of the palace gardens, nearby forests, and distant towns. Each line on the map seemed to tell a story about people, places, and events from long ago. Leo felt fascinated by the history that seemed to come alive before his eyes. William watched quietly, letting Leo discover the room's treasures. After a while, Leo noticed a small wooden box tucked in a corner. He picked it up gently. It was locked, but it had a small engraving on the lid that caught his attention. The engraving showed a symbol of a tree with roots spreading out beneath it. "What do you think is inside?" Leo asked, turning to William. William looked at the box carefully. "It is hard to say without opening it. But sometimes the value of a discovery is not only in what is inside, but also in the lesson we learn while exploring. Would you like to open it?" Leo nodded, feeling a little nervous but excited. He remembered how calm he had remained this morning when the guards opened the trunk. Taking a deep breath, he unlocked the box using the small key that William handed him. Inside, Leo found several old letters, photographs, and a notebook. The letters were written in careful handwriting, and the photographs showed people smiling, celebrating events, and helping others. The notebook contained stories, observations, and notes about the palace, its gardens, and the community around it. Leo realized that this small room was a treasure of knowledge and memories, preserved carefully over the years. William smiled at Leo's discovery. "See, Leo? Sometimes the most ordinary-looking places hold the most extraordinary surprises. History, knowledge, and lessons from the past are hidden in places we least expect. By exploring carefully and being curious, we can find them." Leo felt inspired. He spent the next few minutes carefully reading some of the letters and looking at the photographs. Each piece told a story of people helping each other, celebrating achievements, and learning from mistakes. Leo realized that the lessons he had learned this morning were part of a much larger story about kindness, responsibility, and curiosity. "This is amazing, Your Highness," Leo said. "I never imagined there could be so much to discover in one small room." William nodded. "Yes, and this is only one example. Life has many hidden places, ideas, and lessons. By being attentive, curious, and thoughtful, you can uncover them and learn something valuable every day." Leo felt a deep sense of excitement. He understood that the world around him was full of surprises and opportunities to grow. He also realized that leadership and responsibility were about more than following rules. They were about being aware, learning from experiences, and using knowledge to make good choices. After exploring the room, Leo carefully placed the letters, photographs, and notebook back in the box. William praised him for handling the items respectfully. "You were very careful, Leo. That shows maturity and thoughtfulness. Remember, respect for knowledge and history is just as important as respect for people." Leo nodded, feeling proud. "I will remember that, Your Highness." They walked back up the narrow staircase, leaving the room as they had found it. Leo felt a mixture of wonder and gratitude. What had started as a simple morning check of the car trunk had led him to a hidden room full of history, letters, and lessons. The day had become far more meaningful than he could have imagined. William looked at Leo with a calm smile. "Today you have learned many things, Leo. You have learned about responsibility, kindness, curiosity, and respect. Remember that every experience, no matter how small, can teach you something if you pay attention." Leo felt inspired by William's words. He realized that life was a continuous journey of learning, discovering, and growing. Small moments, hidden places, and thoughtful actions all contributed to a meaningful life. He was excited to continue exploring, learning, and applying these lessons in his own life. As they exited the West Wing, the palace courtyard felt brighter and more welcoming than ever. Birds sang from the trees. The sun reflected off the palace walls, and flowers bloomed with vibrant colors. Leo felt a deep sense of connection to the world around him, understanding that curiosity, care, and observation could reveal hidden wonders at any time. William patted Leo on the shoulder. You have done very well today. Keep this curiosity and carefulness with you always. The world is full of surprises, and you will find many more rooms, letters, and lessons as you grow." Leo smiled, feeling proud and determined. He knew that today's experiences would stay with him forever, guiding him in how he approached life, responsibilities, and opportunities to help others. The palace gates opened for the morning light to spill in, and Leo felt ready for whatever came next. The day had begun with a simple check, led him to an unexpected letter, and now revealed a hidden room full of history. Every step of the way, he had learned the value of careful observation, curiosity, and thoughtful actions. Leo understood something important. Life was full of lessons waiting to be discovered. The key was to stay calm, respectful, and curious no matter the situation. Every small action mattered, and every experience could teach something valuable. Today had been a journey of discovery, and Leo felt excited for all the future lessons that awaited him. The palace gardens glowed under the afternoon sun. Flowers swayed gently in the breeze, and the soft sound of water flowing from the fountains filled the air. Leo walked slowly, still thinking about the hidden room and the letters, photographs, and notebook he had discovered. The excitement of finding the secret room lingered, but more than that, he felt a deep sense of responsibility. Prince William walked beside him, observing Leo with a calm, thoughtful smile. He had noticed how Leo had approached the day's events with curiosity and care. "Leo," William said gently, "you have learned a lot today. But there is one more lesson I want to share with you about leadership." Leo looked up with wide eyes. "Leadership? I thought we already learned about responsibility and being careful." William chuckled softly. "Yes, those are important parts of leadership. But leadership is more than just responsibility. It is about understanding people, showing kindness, and helping others. A good leader leads by example, not just by giving orders." Leo thought about the morning at the palace gates. He remembered how he had stayed calm while the guards checked the car trunk. He remembered the small envelope and the letter from the young fan. He realized that his actions, even small ones, had mattered. William's words made him understand that leadership was connected to these actions. William paused and gestured to the palace grounds around them. "Look at these gardens, Leo. Each flower, each tree, and each fountain is cared for with attention. The gardeners work quietly, but their careful work makes the gardens beautiful for everyone. Leadership is similar. You do not have to shout or command. You lead by showing care, patience, and attention to detail." Leo nodded slowly. He understood what William was saying. Leadership was not about being the most important person in the room. It was about helping others, staying calm, and making thoughtful choices. As they walked, William continued, "Leo, people watch your actions more than your words. Your actions teach lessons, inspire others, and show your values. That is why your calmness and attention to small details today were so important. You are learning to lead even in small ways." Leo felt proud and determined. He remembered the young fan's letter and how it had inspired him. He thought about the hidden room and the treasures he had discovered there. All of these moments were teaching him that leadership was about influence, kindness, and responsibility. They reached a quiet corner of the garden where the sun cast a warm glow over the fountain. William leaned slightly against the stone edge and looked at Leo. Leadership is not just about actions that are seen by everyone. Sometimes the most important actions are the ones that are quiet and unseen, helping someone without expecting praise, paying attention to details that others overlook, and treating everyone with respect. These are the actions of a true leader. Leo thought carefully about William's words. He realized that even small gestures like helping a friend, being polite to a staff member, or learning from history could show leadership. He felt inspired to continue paying attention to these moments. William continued, "Leo, courage is also part of leadership. Courage does not always mean doing something dangerous. Sometimes courage is about staying calm under pressure, making the right choice even when it is difficult, and being honest with yourself and others. Today you have shown courage in small ways, and that is very important." Leo's eyes lit up with understanding. He remembered the moment when the guards had opened the trunk. At first he had been nervous, but he had stayed calm, polite, and careful. That was his first lesson in quiet courage, and he felt proud of himself. William smiled warmly. Another important part of leadership is learning from others. Observe the people around you, see how they act, and try to understand their choices. This will help you grow and make better decisions in the future. Even the smallest lessons can guide you. Leo looked at William and nodded. I will remember that. I want to learn from everyone and always do my best. William gestured toward the palace gates visible in the distance. Every day presents an opportunity to practice leadership, Leo. You can show kindness, responsibility, and courage in small ways, and these will grow over time. Leaders are not born. They are shaped by their experiences and choices. Leo felt a sense of determination. He realized that the day's events, the trunk check, the letter, the hidden room, were all shaping him, helping him understand what it meant to be responsible and kind. Each experience was teaching him how to lead in small and meaningful ways. As they walked further, William added, leadership is also about listening. You must listen to people, understand their feelings, and respond thoughtfully. Sometimes simply paying attention and showing that you care can make a bigger difference than giving instructions. Leo thought about the young fan's letter again. The child had taken the time to write to him, and it had made a difference. He realized that listening, noticing, and responding with care were just as important as any action he could take. They paused near a beautiful rose garden. William bent down to examine one of the roses, and Leo followed. The petals were soft, delicate, and perfectly arranged. William said, leadership is like this rose. It requires attention, patience, and care. You cannot rush it. You nurture it by making thoughtful choices every day. Leo smiled, seeing the connection. He felt inspired to be a leader who cared about others, who acted responsibly, and who stayed calm and kind. He knew that he could start practicing these lessons immediately, in his daily life at the palace and beyond. As they continued walking, William shared another important idea. Leo, a true leader also shares knowledge. What you learn from experiences, history, and observations should be used to guide and inspire others. Today you discovered letters, photographs, and stories in the hidden room. By learning from these, you gain wisdom that can help you and others in the future. Leo thought about the hidden room again. The letters and photographs were more than just old memories. They were lessons in kindness, courage, and thoughtfulness. He realized that leadership meant using these lessons to make positive choices and help others grow. William paused and looked at Leo with a warm, encouraging smile. Remember, Leo, leadership is not about being the most powerful or important person. It is about making good choices, helping others, staying calm, and acting with kindness. If you do these things, you will inspire people and make a real difference. Leo felt a deep sense of understanding. He realized that the day's experiences were shaping him in more ways than he had imagined. The trunk check, the letter, the hidden room, and William's guidance had all taught him important lessons about responsibility, courage, curiosity, and kindness. As the afternoon sun began to lower, casting long shadows across the palace gardens, Leo felt a renewed sense of confidence. He knew that he was learning skills that would guide him for years to come. Leadership was not a distant idea. It was something he could practice every day in small and meaningful ways. William patted Leo gently on the shoulder. You have done very well today, Leo. Keep these lessons in your heart. Remember that every choice, every action, and every gesture counts. You are learning to be a thoughtful, responsible, and kind leader. Leo smiled. Thank you, Your Highness. I understand now. I will remember and practice everything I learned today. William nodded, satisfied. Good. Life will give you many opportunities to lead, and sometimes the lessons will come from unexpected places. Stay curious, stay kind, and stay responsible. That is how you become a true leader. As they walked back toward the palace entrance, the warm afternoon sun illuminated the path. Birds sang softly, flowers glowed with color, and the gentle sound of the fountains filled the air. Leo felt inspired, calm, and determined. He understood that leadership was about much more than rules or authority. It was about kindness, attention, responsibility, and courage. Camilla, who had been watching from the palace balcony, came down to meet them. She looked at Leo and smiled warmly. I can see that you have learned a lot today, she said. I am proud of the way you handled every moment with care and thoughtfulness. Leo looked at his mother and nodded. I have learned that small actions matter, that being calm and responsible is important, and that leadership is about helping and inspiring others. Camilla nodded, proud of her son. She knew that today's experiences would shape him, helping him grow into a thoughtful and kind young man who understood the true meaning of leadership. Leo looked around the palace gardens one last time before heading inside. The day had begun with a simple check at the car trunk, had led him to discover a hidden room, and had taught him important lessons about responsibility, courage, curiosity, and leadership. He knew that these lessons would stay with him forever and guide him in every choice he made. As the sun began to set, Leo felt calm, inspired, and ready for whatever adventures the future might hold. He understood that life was full of opportunities to learn, grow, and lead by example, and today had been a perfect beginning. The sun was beginning to set over the palace, casting golden light across the gardens and courtyards. Leo felt a calm excitement as he walked beside William and his mother Camilla. The events of the day had left him full of thoughts, lessons, and inspiration. What had begun as a simple morning had turned into a day filled with discovery, guidance, and personal growth. Leo thought back to the moment when the guards had opened the trunk of his car. At first he had felt nervous and unsure, but staying calm had taught him an important lesson. He had also discovered the letter from his young fan, which reminded him that small actions can have meaningful impacts. Finally, the hidden room and its treasures had given him a deeper understanding of responsibility, history, and observation. Each of these moments had added to the understanding he was building about life and leadership. William walked beside him, noticing the thoughtful expression on Leo's face. "You have learned a lot today, Leo," he said. "But the most important lesson is that learning never ends. Each day gives you opportunities to practice responsibility, kindness, and courage." Leo nodded. "I understand now, Your Highness. I see that even small actions can make a big difference, and being thoughtful and calm is very important." William smiled. "Exactly. And now you have the chance to put these lessons into practice. Being part of the royal family is not just about traditions or appearances. It is about making choices that reflect your values, helping others, and inspiring those around you." As they walked, Camilla placed a gentle hand on Leo's shoulder. "I am proud of you, Leo," she said warmly. "You have shown patience, curiosity, and responsibility today. These qualities will guide you for your whole life. Remember that every choice you make matters and every action reflects who you are." Leo felt a warm sense of pride. He realized that the lessons he had learned were not just for today. They would stay with him forever. He thought about how he could apply them in his daily life, whether by helping a friend, being polite to the palace staff, or showing attention to small details. Every day could be an opportunity to practice kindness, responsibility, and leadership. As they approached the palace courtyard, Leo noticed the staff and guards smiling at him. They had watched his actions throughout the day and seemed to recognize his growth. Leo waved politely at them, and they returned his gesture with gentle approval. He realized that leadership was not about commanding respect. It was about earning it through careful and thoughtful actions. William stopped near a small fountain in the courtyard and gestured toward it. "Remember this fountain, Leo," he said. "Each drop of water contributes to the whole. Just like the drops, each action you take contributes to the kind of person you become. Be mindful of your choices and you will create something positive and meaningful." Leo studied the fountain and nodded. He could see the connection clearly now. Every action, every word, and every small decision mattered. Leadership, responsibility, and kindness were all built from small steps taken consistently over time. Camilla smiled at her son. "Leo, you have had a very special day. It started with a small test and led to discoveries and lessons that will shape you. Never forget what you have learned." Leo felt inspired. He wanted to make the most of every moment and every opportunity to grow. He realized that learning from experiences, observing the world, and paying attention to small details were just as important as major events or public recognition. William nodded, noticing the determination in Leo's eyes. "You are ready to face new experiences with confidence. Remember, courage is about doing the right thing even when it is not easy. Kindness is about helping others without expecting anything in return. Responsibility is about making thoughtful decisions that consider the impact on others. If you keep these values close, you will always find your way." Leo felt a deep sense of understanding. He realized that the day had been more than just a series of events. It had been a journey of personal growth. From the trunk inspection to the hidden room, every moment had contributed to the lessons he would carry forward. As they continued walking, Leo thought about the young fan who had written the letter. He wanted to reply, to share his gratitude and encouragement. He realized that the lessons he learned were not only for himself, they could also inspire and help others. Leadership and kindness were not limited to family or palace walls. They extended to everyone he met. The sun was lower in the sky now, and the palace gardens glowed in the warm light. Leo felt a sense of peace and happiness. He understood that life was full of small opportunities to learn, grow, and make a positive impact. The day's events had shown him that even ordinary moments could hold extraordinary lessons. William smiled at Leo and said, "Leo, today is only the beginning. Life will give you many more chances to practice what you have learned. Keep your heart open, observe carefully, and act with thoughtfulness. You are capable of great things, and the lessons you learned today will guide you on that path." Leo nodded, feeling ready for the future. He realized that leadership and responsibility were not distant ideas. They were qualities he could practice every day. He could show courage by staying calm, demonstrate kindness through small actions, and lead by example through thoughtful behavior. Camilla guided Leo toward the palace entrance. "You have had a memorable day, Leo," she said. "Never forget the lessons of today. They will help you make wise choices, inspire others, and grow into the person you want to be." Leo smiled at his mother, feeling grateful for her support and guidance. He realized that the day had taught him far more than he could have imagined. From the initial trunk check to the discovery of the hidden room and the lessons shared by William, each experience had shaped him and prepared him for the future. As the evening approached, the palace lights began to glow softly, reflecting on the fountains and pathways. Leo felt a sense of accomplishment and calm excitement. He understood that every day could offer lessons if he remained curious, thoughtful, and attentive. Leadership, courage, and kindness were not qualities he needed to wait for. They were qualities he could show every day, in small but meaningful ways. William patted Leo on the shoulder once more. "You have done very well today, Leo. Keep these lessons close to your heart. Life is full of surprises, and you will discover many more hidden treasures, just like the ones in the secret room. Always be curious, responsible, and kind, and you will continue to grow." Leo looked around the palace gardens one last time before heading inside. The flowers, the fountains, and the glowing lights seemed more alive than ever. He realized that the world was full of beauty, lessons, and opportunities for growth. Each experience, no matter how small, could teach him something important. As Leo entered the palace, he felt a sense of calm confidence. Today had been an extraordinary day, full of learning, discovery, and inspiration. He knew that the lessons he had learned would stay with him forever. From the trunk inspection to the hidden room, from the letter to William's guidance, every moment had been meaningful. Camilla followed him inside, smiling proudly. "Remember today, Leo," she said softly. "You have learned lessons that will guide you for a lifetime. Kindness, courage, responsibility, and attention to detail. These qualities will help you grow into a thoughtful and inspiring young leader." Leo nodded, feeling a warm sense of determination. He realized that the day's experiences were only the beginning of a lifelong journey. He wanted to continue learning, discovering, and helping others in meaningful ways. Every day offered the chance to practice the lessons he had learned today. As night fell over the palace, Leo felt inspired and ready for the adventures and experiences that lay ahead. He understood that leadership was not about power or recognition. It was about making good choices, helping others, and acting with thoughtfulness and care. The palace was quiet now, the gardens bathed in soft moonlight. Leo reflected on the day, feeling proud of his growth and eager to continue learning. He knew that the experiences of today would guide him in the days, months, and years to come. The lessons of responsibility, courage, kindness, and curiosity were now part of who he was becoming. Leo went to his room, carefully placing the young fan's letter and the key to the hidden room on his desk. He felt grateful for the day, for William's guidance, and for the small but meaningful experiences that had shaped him. He knew that tomorrow and every day after would offer new lessons and opportunities to grow. As he lay down for the night, Leo smiled, thinking about the day's journey. What had begun as a simple inspection at the palace gates had become a memorable adventure, full of discoveries, lessons, and inspiration. He understood that life was full of small moments that could teach big lessons. With a calm and happy heart, Leo drifted to sleep, carrying with him the lessons of the day. Responsibility, kindness, courage, and curiosity were now part of him, guiding him toward a future full of promise. Today had been a day to remember, a day that would shape him forever, and a day that reminded him that even the smallest actions could make a difference.